Well, ladies and gentlemen, I thought that was very, very informative. I want to give you my take on this deal. First of all, I have trust in Donald Trump. And I've talked about the fact that after he won the Republican primary, he, unsolicited, texted me and he said, I will protect Israel, just as he'll protect the United States. I have trust in the Prime Minister of Israel, Netanyahu, the longest-serving Prime Minister and the greatest Prime Minister in the history of Israel. He won't sell out his country any more than Donald Trump would sell out our country or the Jewish state. I have absolutely no trust or faith in Biden or Blinken or Sullivan. Of course, Qatar is a terrorist regime, and I'll get to them in a minute. And of course, Hamas is a deadly enterprise. I don't really like this deal very much, to be perfectly honest with you. And it comes down to me to the fact that essentially 3,000 terrorists are going to be released in 3 phases if this thing holds up. And the Prime Minister of Qatar confirmed that 33 hostages will be released. This is the Jerusalem Post. The women and children first, followed by the female soldiers, then men over the age of 50, young men who are defined as humanitarian cases. They let them live, so they're humanitarian cases. In exchange, Israel will release about 2,000 convicted terrorists, including about 250 who were sentenced to life imprisonment because they're killers. In addition, Israel will release about 1,000 terrorists captured after October 7th. 9 sick or injured hostages are to be released in exchange for the release of 110 convicted terrorists serving life sentences for murder. Israel will release 1,000 prisoners from Gaza, all of whom were arrested after October 8th, 2023. None were directly involved on October 7th. Elderly hostages over the age of 50 are being released at a ratio of 27 life sentence prisoners and 31 other prisoners per elderly hostage. So you can see that is 58 terrorists in exchange for 1 elderly prisoner who's Jewish. And it goes on about how they're going to handle this, and it is a grotesque use of hostages. And that's the other thing that bothers me a great deal. This is dealing with terrorists that is sanctioned by the United States. Dealing with terrorist regime that promises to do more hideous, massive murder against the Jews. That's Hamas's mission. Hamas survives. They survive in Gaza. They will rebuild, or at least try to. They will expand, at least try to. You heard Trey Yingst. I agree with him. And so this is a grave risk for the Israelis who've been pressured to do this, because I doubt Netanyahu would do this on his own, but he's doing it because he's looking at other things. He wants to defeat, also Iran, take out their nuclear sites. We are really their biggest, if not their most important ally, or only ally in a significant way. And it's a tiny little country surrounded by barbarians. And it needs us. But this whole thing, we would never release 3,000 terrorists in exchange for anything. Can you imagine? When we've allowed people to go out of Guantanamo Bay, when Obama did, when Biden did the other week, holy hell. We raised holy hell, didn't we? We said, what are they doing? How could they possibly do? Imagine 3,000. And look what they did to the Jews in Israel, to these 1,200 people. I pulled out the reports. The horrendous, barbaric activity against the women, the gang rapes, the mutilation of the genitalia, the decapitation in front of mothers, cutting open mothers' stomachs and taking the baby out. It goes on and on and on, the horrendous things that took place. And you're sitting down and you're negotiating with these people. You're releasing 3,000 terrorists. This isn't a victory for anybody. I would just remind also the Trump team, the reason why your first-term foreign policy was so magnificent and so successful is that you didn't follow these old formulas, the Biden formulas or any other formulas. You thought out of the box, and you did the things you needed to do, and I believe, hopefully, from this point forward, that will take place. I'm not one to sit here and say we should scuttle this, or that I should use my voice to scuttle it. If this is what the Israeli government and the Trump administration think needs to be done, that's fine. But there are red lines. There must never be 2 states. There must never be a so-called Palestinian state carved out of Israel. They want to carve it out of Saudi Arabia, go for it. They want to carve it out of Jordan, where the so-called Palestinians were really first existed, then carve it out of Jordan. There's plenty of Arab countries, go for it. But the idea that the Israelis have to surrender their ancestral homelands to enemies is insane. Are they going to have an air force? They're going to have tanks? They're going to have nuclear weapons? Can you imagine? No. That has to be a red line. Also, Iran's nukes. They have to be destroyed. Those nuclear sites have to be taken out. They must be taken out. And if it's our position that Netanyahu and Israel needed to cut this deal, if that's our position, then we need to back them up when they take this enemy on. I do agree. We need to expand the Abraham Accords. I think that's a wonderful thing. But there's a reason why Hamas and Iran and the Hamas front group in the United States are all celebrating this. All of them. There's nothing to celebrate. This was done, and it's done. The one saving grace is if Hamas violates any of these phases, shoots any missiles into Israel, Israel can go in and obliterate them. It's my understanding that the Trump administration will permit it. Now, briefly, I want to talk about Qatar. I don't know what the hell Qatar's doing as a mediator. I don't know what the hell we're doing with Qatar, or any of our envoys are doing with Qatar. Qatar is doing God's work. Is that what I heard us say? Doing God's work? $1.8 billion to Hamas over the years. It protected Hamas's leadership right up to the election of Donald Trump. It's doing God's work. Qatar is a major Hamas financier. Qatar blames Israel for Hamas's attack on October 7th. This is from our friends at the Foundation for the Defense of Democracy. Qatar has harbored top Hamas leaders. Qatar hosts Hamas political office in Doha, which I think it only now just closed. Qatar amplifies Hamas's messaging on state-owned Al Jazeera. Yes, it's owned by Qatar. Qatar backed Hamas's political takeover of Gaza in 2007. Qatari patronage has not moderated Hamas. Qatar was suspended by the Gulf Cooperation Council over its ties to terrorism. In 2017, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Bahrain, Egypt severed ties back then with Qatar. Qatar hosts large numbers of U.S. troops. Why we reestablished our lease there with Qatar, I'll never know. And they're trying to play both sides. They've bought politicians in America. They've bought billionaires in America. They've bought special interests in America. They use sporting events. Look at us. Aren't we great? No, you're not great. And they're funding anti-Semitic organizations in our country, on our colleges and universities. Yes, Qatar is a terrorist-supporting regime that is moderating in this deal. That somebody will have to explain to me. I'll be right back.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.